Greetings, I'm Dr. Peter Resnick and welcome to my face reading secrets of the people in the news session. A couple of reminders. Please feel free to send me an email if you have any comments or would like to suggest that I read the face of someone in the news. Also, please keep your eyes open for my upcoming book, Face Reading for Successful Relationships. Hopefully it will come out at the end of this year. If you're interested in the subject of face reading, you can watch on YouTube my introduction to face reading and Face Reading 101. Today is our third face reading session. I post these sessions every Thursday. I did Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and today I will talk about Vladimir Putin. Not because I'm interested in talking just about politicians, but because these people make the news these days. First, I speak about the persona, the face, the part of us that we develop in response to our upbringing and what we show to the world. Excuse me. And then I will look at Putin's profile and see who he really is, because as you already know, the temperament, which is embodied in our profile, reveals our innate characteristics, which rarely change, if at all. So here he is, Mr. Putin, ladies and gentlemen, his face, his persona. It is Mars. Surprise. Just like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. You may be wondering, do all politicians have a Mars face? Of course not. You will see it in the future. I will read the face of Ben Carson and others. But here we can see a clear rectangle. A few years before he had a facelift, his face is a little younger, that one on the left, and more narrow, but nevertheless it is Mars. Mars is most action-oriented of all personalities, impatient, ready to fight, has a short fuse. He loves fun, he is generous with those he cares for, and ready to kill those who does not. He's courageous, he's impulsive, but these are general characteristics of the Mars face. Now a few things about his features. Look at his cold, pale blue hazel eyes. That means that he is detached and can make his decisions based totally on intellect without grappling with his feelings. The deep-set eyes, which tells us that even though he is Mars, which usually stands for social, extrovert, and all out there, President Putin's face is somewhat different. He is an introvert, keeps things to himself, tells you something only after considering carefully what he wants you to know. The bridge of his nose is narrow, always has been. You will look at other pictures. So he is anxiety-driven, though don't think that he will ever allow you to know this. That is because of his temperament, which we'll talk about later. For the same reason, he will not show you how sensitive he is, but he is really very sensitive. Notice his middle social zone, social emotional zone, is very large in proportion to his intellectual and physical zones. His lips are tight and sealed, the corners of lips go down, which tells us that he stored significant amount of bitterness from his life. His ears are far from the skull, that is, he is independent and follows the beat of his own drum. By the way, I looked into his earlier picture. He definitely was not Mars. Let's look at it. As you can see, he is Saturn at younger age. And slowly his face, you look from 1, 2, 3, his face somewhere you see on the picture 4, he's morphing, and then 5, and finally 6, he's morphing into Mars. And people with Saturn face are somewhat different. Saturn are most perseverant in everything they do. They're always organized and meticulous, always know what they have done so far and what they want to accomplish. They take time before they act, and therefore they may seem indecisive. In reality, they are very capable of making decisions and acting upon them. They just need time between the thought and action, which goes well with Putin's deep-set eyes. The Saturn are deep thinkers with philosophical inclination. Sadness in Saturn changes into anger, which again fuels the will to overcome challenges. The Saturn are most sexual of all types. They are often confusing sex with love, though most of the time they are looking for intimacy. Remember, if a person lives as a certain personality / face for 10, 15, or 20 years, and then move into another phase or personality, they still retain characteristics of the previous one, plus they acquire new traits. That's what we know about President Putin's face. That's what he reveals through his personality. And now, Putin's temperament, that which is the essence, mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically. That is what under the mask, under his persona. Putin is a pure Bilious, as pure as they come. So what do we know about the Bilious? They are very strong, willful, usually have muscular, compound, powerful body, not particularly large, but solid and wiry. The minds of the Bilious are very active, always geared towards solving problems and overcoming challenges. The Bilious are positive pessimists, see a lot of negativity, always see the negative, but don't get overwhelmed by the negativities, but see it as challenges to overcome. Bilious people you may know are Rudy Giuliani, George Bush the Senior, Napoleon, Adolf Hitler, Mahatma Gandhi, Whoopi Goldberg, Mikhail Gorbachev, the late Pope John Paul, Hillary Clinton. The Bilious are always very active and always in the pursuit of getting yet another thing done, another accomplishment under the belt, another battle won. They're willful, organized, as I said, long-distance runners in every possible way. They pursue their goals once they're clear about what they want, without regard for time, effort, obstacles. They keep going like Energizer Bunny. After a clear vision, nothing will stop them. They know exactly, intellectually, they figure out what they want and then keep going. Bilious are natural leaders, often admired but not necessarily loved by their followers, because while being highly intellectual, they often lack sensitivity and empathy. Having these incredible resources of determination, it's hard for them to understand why other people are not doing their share. But let's for a moment look at Putin's face at a younger age, where he is coming from. You can see the curvature here, the bow-like shape of the nervous temperament in the profile, which tells us about greater sensitivity, quickness of mind, and creativity. That's what happened Mr. Putin to climb the ladder of success. Not just his endurance and will, there are many willful people in Russia, but this creativity and ability to maneuver. And now back to the now. So, Mr. Bilious, if a Bilious is in politics and her will is not challenged, they may become dictators. We all can live the best and the worst of our temperament. The perfect illustrations of this, of course, Hitler and Gandhi, or Napoleon and Mikhail Gorbachev. Both had the same bilious will, the same unwavering commitment to the cause. Both had long-term plans and visions. One was building the empire, and the other had the courage and honesty to dismantle one. It's all in moral choices we make. This is President Putin unfolding before our eyes, and that's all about him. Thank you very much for being with me today, and I see you next Thursday.